Okay guys, let's do something. Let's all sit down together, relax, and have a civilized chat about the little topic of the Shuumatsu anime on Netflix while we enjoy a good beer. So, if you'd be so kind, could I ask you to leave all the weapons you're carrying in the hallway? Knives and brass knuckles count too, Adams fans. Let's all turn off the Killer Instinct switch for a few minutes. When this anime was released, we all went a bit overboard. It was total madness on both sides. I'm recording this just the day after the premiere, with a cooler head and things much clearer. I hope it won't take me too long to be able to publish this video. Here's some context about the recent controversy involving the anime Shumatsu no Valkyrie, also known as Record of Ragnarok. For those with active social lives and stable mental health, in other words, people who avoid Twitter, and may not know about this. Shumatsu no Valkyrie is a relatively niche anime about a tournament where gods and humans fight for humanity's survival. Yeah, it's like a classic shonen arc, but it's neither an arc nor a shonen. Honestly, the manga is better than it sounds. In fact, I already have a couple of videos on the channel talking exclusively about this anime, and I'm always bringing it up whenever I get the chance. This monthly seinen manga has become one of my all-time favorite works. And it's not just because it has one of my ultimate waifus and 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of my ultimate husbandos. This manga is a delight for fight fans. So, when Netflix and Warner Bros. Announced it, and an animation studio would venture to create an animated adaptation of this manga, I literally exploded. I got extremely hyped, and those constant trailers really helped. Those aggressive and epic soundtracks, along with those brutal illustrations, looked absolutely impressive. But there was something that wasn't impressing the fans that much, or, well, maybe it was impressing them, but in a bad way. The animation wasn't as smooth as fans wanted. The characters looked static, or as I call it, stiff. Like the creepypasta guy, I ignored it, expecting the usual 5 or 6 loud nerds. Complaining because their anime isn't as high quality as the Kimetsu no Yaiba or Jujutsu Kaisen movie. But as more and more trailers were released, this division in the fandom grew. You could sense tragedy in the air. But I guess I was too busy thinking about Poseidon's abs to notice. Anyway, the day finally arrived. The fandom's civil war started on June 17th. 2021. I was really excited and happy because although the animation didn't seem great in illustration, soundtrack, voices, or faithfulness, it still looked promising. I'm not picky about animation, so I didn't really notice that detail. What can I say? I watched all 170 episodes of Black Clover without complaining. I think I'm immune to shock. Alright, from this point on, everything went completely to hell. The fandom split into 2 groups. The group that utterly hated this adaptation saw it as the worst thing to happen to Shumatsu. There was no animation, just still images or GIFs. There are too many animation experts online. They didn't care that the illustration, palette, color choices, songs, or soundtrack were great. They called it trash, claiming it was just like Y and felt very ripped off. So far, that's fine. You're entitled to your opinion and can say it was total garbage from your perspective. The issue was a few people from this group who began harassing others quietly enjoying the anime. The second group includes those who liked it and chose to focus on the adaptation's positives and accept that it's far from being the adaptation we all dreamed of. I don't think anyone would say this anime has been perfect. Its flaws are clear. And yes, there were toxic people in this community in case anyone doubts it. As always, some people stayed neutral, which I assume is understood. Alright, now I want to ask a question with all humility and the utmost respect. And that question is, what were you expecting? Netflix takes risks adapting mangas, as they did with Kengan Baki and now with Shumatsu. They're experimental animes, from mangas that don't have a massive target audience. We're not discussing Naruto clone number 543. Instead, this manga is experimental in several ways. Given Shumatsu's fanbase, Netflix couldn't be assured of major success. I always assumed the anime wouldn't be a big deal. That's why I was happy when I saw the trailers, since I honestly expected it to be worse. Look at Kengan. Even though its computer-generated imagery is great and I love that adaptation, it was 100% done in computer-generated imagery due to budget reasons. Honestly, I'm not sure what you expected. Maybe you don't fully understand how some industries work. This case is tricky. Some of you might say we didn't expect Jujutsu Kaisen, but we wanted better animation. Okay, does what you're saying make sense? Shuumatsu is clearly a work that's hard to adapt into an anime if you think about it. It has very complicated and overloaded designs, and it has some frantic and intense battles. Doing all this properly takes a lot of time and money. In this case, Netflix decided to focus on making the designs as polished as possible because I think you can say a lot of things, but the designs and drawings were honestly really good. They prioritized a good adaptation over making it a good anime. They did what they could with the resources they had to make this happen. You might personally like the result more or less. I completely understand, and I really do. Maybe it would have been a better idea to find a balance. Maybe some drawings and designs that are less polished, but with animation that's a bit higher quality. Because yes, it's true that there are some scenes that leave something to be desired. Again, it was just a few scenes. It wasn't the whole anime. It was during the fight between Zeus, Adamus, and Adam, and a little bit also in the Lu Bu versus Thor fight, and that's about it. Many people acted like watching this adaptation would be unbearable, but I don't think so. Honestly, I think people lost their cool and their perspective a bit. They got carried away by what they would have liked the anime to be, and they didn't listen to reason. Yes, the animation was mediocre, even bad like much seasonal anime, but it's not a show worth stressing over. No one will claim this anime surpassed the manga. It's nearly impossible. The Shuumatsu manga is art. I think it's good this adaptation exists in any form, as it will attract more people to the great work that is Shumatsu. Alright, now let's discuss the shadiest part. Those who suddenly became bugs from all their toxicity. From the start, people unfairly criticized this adaptation. In the first trailer, you could hardly see the designs, but people still harshly criticized it, like baboons with diarrhea. Everything about the anime was harshly criticized, even simple design illustrations. Some fans never wanted an adaptation, even if MAPPA spent 10 years making it. Not even then. They would still find flaws with it. The reasons are varied. The main ones are that some are such fanatics that they can't stand the idea of there being an adaptation of their perfect manga. Some people don't want normies in the fandom, which is pretty pathetic and cringe. This shows they don't truly love the work. If they truly loved Shumatsu, they'd want more people to discover this great work, not the opposite. Could you say it's a textbook case of toxic love? From here on, this is just my speculation, so don't take it too seriously. But I think this group mixed with the hater side of Shuumatsu. They used the chance to attack this animation while pretending to be fans, as most comments were just copied from others. Is that for real? They didn't make good jokes, just kept repeating PowerPoint and reposting the same Shuumatsu parody video in PowerPoint over and over. Did they actually seem like bots? It would have been better if they'd tried harder with the jokes. And then a third group joined them, which are, well, the ones who just enjoy the controversy and jump into any of them, no matter what kind it is. They just entertain themselves that way. Anyway, if there are people who enjoy sticking forks in their urethra, then I guess there will also be people who have fun like this. The harassment and takedown were intense. This series was blamed for nearly everything, almost being accused of starting World War III. The whiniest and most cringe complained that not every manga panel was perfectly adapted. I saw them cry because they changed one of Brunil's facial expressions. They did this because some were too complex to animate, so they simplified them. You may like it more or less. But anyway, not much is said about the illustrations, which did improve slightly. Much can be said about this adaptation, but claiming it didn't adapt the panels correctly, let's be serious, no way. If I can't instantly spot differences between manga panels and anime frames, I need the manga in front of me to spot these differences, since honestly, they couldn't have done that bad a job. This left a bad taste in my mouth since it was premiere day, and many of us were as excited as kids. Luckily, I still enjoyed it a lot. We streamed all 12 episodes on premiere day in one sitting. It was one of my best streaming experiences, and everyone who was there had a really great time. But there were a few fans, both on my stream and on social media and other streams, who were only there to insult you or laugh at you, simply because you were enjoying anime, literally. I saved this topic for last because I felt it was the most sensitive. There were people who were just so messed up in the head that they tried to ruin the experience for others watching this anime. They couldn't enjoy it themselves, so they stopped others from enjoying it too. What kind of psychopathy does that take? I thought it was insane. I had to block some people because of it. They're just seeking conflict and disrespecting you for thinking differently. Yeah, I know. Welcome to the internet, man. I know, I'm the first one who understands how this goes, but this time it just seemed way over the top to me. Fortunately, it was only a loud minority, but dealing with them was very unpleasant. All they wanted was to make sure you didn't have such a good experience watching this anime. I think my opinion is pretty clear. I found all of this to be way over the top. A ridiculous snowball effect formed over something minor. Was the animation bad? It was mediocre, almost bad. I'm no animation expert, unlike those 15-year-olds online giving lessons, but my eyes didn't bleed. The drawings are nice colors, nice music. I'm happy. Yeah, the characters were stiff. I noticed the limited budget. And Adam versus Zeus playing checkers was pretty unfortunate. I don't think it's the apocalypse like many claim. This is the last time I'll discuss this topic on YouTube or other social media. This video ends this unpleasant topic for me. I wish it ended differently, but that's life. I'm more about dealing with fun and pleasant topics to brighten your day. Life can be unpleasant enough, so let's not make ourselves even more unhappy online. My final message, bro, live and let live. You should be happy that others have seen the good in something you aren't able to see. They're just Chinese cartoons. Let others have fun and don't be bitter. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch, where I stream nearly every day. Remember to follow my secondary channel, Beals, where I post live reactions to anime and manga I've watched or read. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.